everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Huddle with your host, Dr. Monica Ogando, for Spiritual Matters Thursdays. I am so excited to be with you today because we're going to have a discussion about exercise as a spiritual discipline. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, it's Spiritual Matters Thursday. Why are we talking about exercise? I have to tell you that I did not know that spiritual discipline that I could reach while engaging my body. And I have a quote for you on that. The body achieves what the mind believes. So I have a special guest for you today, my personal trainer, the lovely Brittney LaSha from bodylover.com. I'm so excited to have her with us. We're going to get some free coaching today. I'm lending you my coach. You can get some free coaching today. Exercise as a spiritual discipline. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. Good morning to the east, good morning to the west, good morning to the north, good morning to the south, good morning, everybody. Again, Dr. Monica Ogando here. Welcome to the Daily Huddle, Spiritual Matters Thursdays. I am here with my guest, Brittney LaSha, who I'll introduce in just a little bit. And before we do that, we're going to get grounded in the now moment. We're going to get here together. I want to ask Gio, where are you? And who are you thankful? What are you thankful for today?
I am here.
Uh-huh.
I am here.
Yeah.
And what am I thankful for today?
Yes.
I'm thankful for showers.
Showers. I love it. Okay, very good. I'm thankful for showers too, on your behalf and on everybody who's going to with you today. I love it. Thank you. And so let me see, who else is here? Cece, are you here? Cece, how are you?
Yes, I am wonderful. I'm right here, right now. Thank you.
Okay, now listen, everybody. Cece, can I tell everybody?
You sure can.
Okay, well, Cece has a birthday coming up, and her birthday celebration is this Sunday, July 9th. If you happen to be local to the Atlanta area, DM me and I'll give you the information. I'm not gonna put it out there on the internet. You have fans, Cece. I don't know if you know this, and we don't want the crazy fans to come to your thing. So DM me, and there's gonna be a free wine tasting, free entry door celebration, and I'll give you the information for Cece's birthday celebration, Sunday, July 9th. Happening here in Atlanta. So I'll give you info on that. I'm so excited. Stan, I saw you. I want to ask you, what time is it?
Hey.
And who are you hugging today?
The time is now.
Yes.
And I'm going to hug always first my wife.
Of course.
Then I'm going to choose some other random person that gives me the vibration I can hug them without them punching me out or whatever.
That's important.
Yeah.
Consent is the first rule.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, I am excited, you guys, because we have with us a guest, the lovely Brittney LaSha. I want to tell you that Brittney and I have known each other for many, many years. I've coached her on her business. She's coached me on my body. And I have to tell you that I have never felt better, and I'm excited to bring her to you. She is my secret weapon, and you can't take her from me. You can only borrow her for a little bit, okay? Brittney has been a body love expert for many years, and her brand, Boady Lover, is a blend. As you know, I'm very much about stand for the and. I'm very much about the integration, the duality, the bilingualism, and she integrates the conversation around exercise and nutrition. Yes, that's the physical aspect of it, but then there's the mental and the emotional aspect of your health and of your wellness. So we're going to get into that. Welcome, Brittney. I'm so excited that you are here with us today.
Hey, sunshine. I'm happy to be here.
Tell the people, why did you call your brand Body Lover? And why is it so important for you to blend those two things, the mindset piece with the physical piece, when you could just focus on nutrition and exercise like most people do?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I chose the name Body Love Her, obviously because I am a feminine embodied human, and also because I believe self-love is the answer to everything. And then obviously our body is our oracle. A lot of times we are looking for answers outside of ourselves, but the answers is we can clearly or quickly find them in our body. So Body Love Her. And as you said, I believe in holistic or integrative practices. And so I believe that we should always, we should always kind of go towards things that support us in balancing the masculine and the feminine. So as within, so without. So I feel like we should focus on things that helps us to do both.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about our training, by the way, you guys, I am in Atlanta, Georgia. She is in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So you might ask, how is she your personal trainer? How is she your personal trainer when you guys are so far away from each other? Zoom, baby. Zoom is the answer.
Technology.
So one of the things that I love about the work that we do together, Brittney, is that because we do Zoom personal training sessions, I cannot escape your watchful eye. See, when you go to a class, you can kind of like get lost in the sauce a little bit, because the person that's in the front of the room maybe doesn't have a direct eye contact with you or see you, what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're in Zoom and the only thing you're watching is me, then it's important to get into that form, et cetera. And one of the things that I really appreciate about that is that I also get into my body, because my mind's eye is focused on what my muscles are doing. When you're telling me to do a particular form or a particular angle, or do it this way, hold the weight that way, I can feel the shift in my body. And the mental and the spiritual aspect of that for me is that just a tiny little shift in an angle, something as simple as, instead of letting the dumbbells hang from my wrist, hold them straight. Something as simple as that can make a complete difference in how I go down on a squat or how I go up on a, et cetera. And the way that I translate that in a spiritual and a, mental fitness kind of angle is that just as that small move makes such a big difference in my physical body, so does a mental shift make a big difference in my reality. Because if I could just reframe a particular belief, whether I deem it limiting or not, but if I can reframe a particular belief, I don't have to get rid of the belief, just reframing it, holding it at a different angle makes all the difference in the world. And I so appreciate that you pay attention to those nuances like that, because sometimes people think it's going to be a big change. It's going to be big things that you do. And it's in those tiny tweaks. That's why the quantum leaps, people think quantum means like, oh, it's a jump. Well, quantum is really the smallest substance, smaller than an atom. And by doing those small changes, you make a big difference. I really appreciate about the way that you work with me. Are you there?
I'm here.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what do you attribute when you see people make the biggest difference, when you see people make the biggest changes, what are some of the ingredients that they all have in common? What do they all do that gets that difference?
I would say the two biggest things is, this sounds so simple, but it's so impactful, is knowing what you want. I feel like a lot of times people start their exercise regimen just kind of willy-nilly, not really knowing. It's just like they wake up one day and they're like, oh, okay, I want to lose weight. And then that Sunday, then Monday, they're at the gym. And it's just like, well, why are you there? Like, what's the purpose? Like, who do you have to become to kind of like have the thing that you say you want? But if you don't know who you're becoming, if you don't know what you want. So the first thing I would say is know exactly what you want so that your habits on a day-to-day basis lines up with that. And then the second thing I would say is a lot of times I think when people start an exercise practice or any practice, they think I'm going to set out to do this thing and then it's going to be the best word I could use is easy, but I teach my clients, as you know, to kind of anticipate the resistance, because essentially what you're doing when you're changing your body, making more money, learning to love yourself, is you're facing yourself. And so if you're facing yourself, then you obviously have to face the things that have stopped you from having the things that you say you want. So the two biggest things that I've noticed in my clients is they know exactly what they want, and then they know who they have to become to have the thing that they want, which includes facing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super important. So when you say anticipate the resistance, do you mean like brace for it? Do you mean like make plans for it? How do you anticipate the resistance in that way?
When I say anticipate the resistance, what I'm meaning is not brace yourself for it because you don't want to assume worst case scenario, but know that resistance is a part of the process. I tell my clients all the time, it's like you say you want to lose 5 pounds and then you start working out. Well, everything that has stopped you from losing the 5 pounds, you can expect to face that. So if it's you putting everything before yourself, if it's you're saying you're going to go to the gym and then you don't go, then you should expect to face that. The resistance is the thing that's stopping you from having what it is you say you want. So anticipate it. Anticipate that you're going to have to face the part of yourselves that don't typically get up and go to the gym when you say you will. Anticipate facing, the part of yourself that likes to sneak into the pantry and get chocolate every night. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Or the part of you that says, but the kids have a thing. I can't go work out because of the schedule, because I have too much, I don't have the time and so forth. I totally
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I totally get that. And so, okay, so get clear on what you want, get it, anticipate the resistance, okay? And then what?
Then so I feel like after you anticipate the resistance, I think that a lot of why we do anything is because of how we want to feel. And so a lot of times we're kind of trying to get to the feeling in a roundabout way. I believe get into the feeling, like get into your feelings. And so the next thing you want to do is understand how you think you're going to feel once you've lost the 5 pounds, or how you think you're going to feel, once your waist is more cinched, or once your A1C is down. And so it's just like getting into that feeling. Once you get into the feeling of whatever that is, so let's just say you want to lose the 5 pounds and you feel that losing 5 pounds is going to support you in feeling lighter. So what can you do on a day-to-day basis that's going to support you in feeling lighter? Obviously, exercise is one of those things, but it could be simple things. Something that makes me feel lighter, I'm learning, is going for a run in the morning. Like I feel like a feather this morning. Like I went running at about 6 a.m. And so it's just like getting into the feeling helps you do the practice more. Like, because I said, we're trying to get to the feeling. So it's like, cut out the middleman, allow yourself to feel the feeling, and it makes it easier to do the thing that you said you would, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So if somebody were to get themselves into using exercise as a spiritual discipline, I can see the clarity of the objective of the goal, right? Because that's number one in any endeavor, spiritual or otherwise. The anticipate the resistance, I can see that being a spiritual exercise also, because a lot of times it just means confronting oneself and reframing that. And then the feeling aspect of it, I can see that being a spiritual discipline, in that there's this, matching or pairing the thought with the feeling is the groundwork for creation. The thoughts mean nothing unless there's feeling behind it. That's why there's a lot of things that we think that don't manifest. Thank God for that. Lord have mercy, because you don't have the feeling behind it. But as soon as the thought and the feeling get together, then the process of manifestation begins. So I can see how getting into the feeling is part of the magic as well. Do you think that seeing exercise as a spiritual discipline helps people get more into it? Or like their physical wellness, I should say.
Absolutely, because one of the things that helps a person to stay the course of their exercise journey is knowing why you're doing something. I think a lot of times the whys that people have are very shallow. So there's nothing to kind of like push them to keep going. So say, for instance, if you have a why that says, I want to fit into my high school jeans, Okay, well, if it really mattered you fitting into your high school jeans, then you would be fitting into your high school jeans. So it's just like seeing exercise as a spiritual practice, like I said a few minutes ago, it really does help you to face yourself. It really does help you to continue to work on yourself. I think a big part of what our spiritual journey is what I said earlier, is really, it's like when you set a goal, you think you are going for the external outcome, but it's really the process of becoming the person that has it. So if you see it as a spiritual practice, it really allows you the space to take the journey of becoming the person that has it. So, okay, I'm a person who wants to wake up at 6 o'clock every morning and go to the gym. As a spiritual practice, then again, you're asking yourself, okay, well, what's stopping me from getting up at 6 a.m. every morning? Okay, what's stopping me is I'm staying up, all night watching, I don't know, I don't watch a lot of TV, but like
YouTube videos or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, on Facebook, or what have you. And so it's just like, okay, in order for me to get up and go to the gym in the morning, then I have to do away with this, or how do I say, like refrain from watching TV or watching Netflix. And so what you get to do by no longer watching TV or watching Netflix is you get to really see, okay, like, why am I doing that? And so it's like, it allows you to face the shadow aspects of yourself. And so shadow aspects are, we think, bad things, but they're not really bad things. It's more so unconscious things that we're doing. So seeing it as a spiritual practice, I feel like really helps you to face the parts of yourself that you normally wouldn't, because you're using, the best way I can say is like self-sabotaging things to get your emotional needs met.
I also like that you called it a spiritual practice, because so many times we have fitness or exercise or wellness goals that are outcome oriented. And I think the practice of showing up every day in itself, and it may be tied to a goal, right? That we want to lose a particular amount of weight, or we want to get to a particular amount of speed, distance, or whatever. That's great. But the process itself, the process goal of, I'm going to do this every 3 times a week or 5 times a week or whatever, in itself is a spiritual practice. I can tell from my own experience, there have been days when I show up to the mat, as it were, with you, and it's like, the only reason I'm here is because we have an appointment. I don't want to be here. I ain't got it. I don't have the energy. I don't have the emotional stamina to lift nothing. But that I have an appointment with you, and that I know that you're waiting for me on the other side, and just showing up to the mat. It's like, okay, one step at a time. This dumbbell, this exercise, this move, this breath, this thing, and being in the now moment has allowed me to move through emotional challenges, circumstances in my life, etc. That it's like, wow, I guess I did have it. And I wouldn't have known unless I showed up.
And I think that that's really important, because it goes back to like having to face yourself. So many times we stop the things that we're doing because, again, we think it's just going to be like, oh, show up every day, and it's easy and I get to do it. And as soon as we get to the point that you're saying, well, we don't want to do it, or we don't feel like we have the energy to do it, or we're having a bad day, then it's like we stop, and then it starts like that whole downward spiral, and then you have to like start back over. But showing up and like facing yourself in the moment, I like to say it creates like a belief system check. And so it's just like you do it that one time, and it's just like, oh, I can do that. And then so the next time you show up and you're having a bad day and you don't feel like it, and the kids are being difficult or what have you, then you can kind of like go back into your mind and remember, oh, well, the last time I did it. And so it's just like, okay, I can do it. So you do that about, like 5 or 6 times. And then before you know it, that becomes the habit of, okay, I know that whenever I don't want to do it, I show up. And then after I finish, like, I'm going to feel way better than what I felt initially. So even that is a part of the process. Yeah.
Beautiful. And then, of course, it helps. It's an added bonus that it's like, oh, look at my legs. Ooh, look at the tricep. Oh, look. That always helps. That's extra credit. I want to open it up for everybody. What questions, commentary do you have? you can get some Brittney for you today. Questions, comments. What do we have about your own fitness and wellness journey? Yes, Cece.
Excellent job, Brittany. Thank you so much for reminding us to do self-care. I too am on a weight loss progress every day. I do make myself work out. I do not break promises to myself by making excuses not to work out. So I hit the pool most days, and I had cleaned up my food.
Nice.
And cleaned up my mind quite a bit by the grace of God. So thank you so much for the inspiration, the motivation, and for sharing. And I pass.
Awesome. Thank you, Cece.
Thank you for sharing.
That's also why one of our tenets here in the Daily Huddle is, move your body. That's part of it. You are a complete system. It's not just your mind. It's not just, sometimes we live up here and we forget the rest of us. And it's the sensuality and the physicality of your existence is also part of your spiritual journey. Yes. Yes, my dear Stan.
Thank you so much, Brittany. I really appreciate that. One of the things that I was thinking about is the use of the resistance, because it's always when we use that resistance that we build ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's only when we are using the resistance that we build ourselves.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
so I would try to remind myself now that the spiritual side of me is greater than actually we give a lot to thinking, because thinking is so very, very important. It's what we do.
Sure.
Right? But we are greater than our thinking. There's a spiritual being that we are that can take us beyond our thinking, because so often the days that I wake up and I do my workout at home, that I feel the worst. I don't want to do anything that day. The time that, as Doc was just saying, right? The times when I feel like that when I'm in my better mind, I'll tell myself today I'm going to do more than I did yesterday, just because I feel that way. And I find out that I can do it. It lets me know that there is something in me greater than just the way I think or the way I feel. And I can, that spiritual side of me can transcend all of that. And I can use that resistance to build myself. Thank you for reminding me of it.
I love that.
That's good stuff. Use the resistance.
It makes me think of why I'm running every morning is because I absolutely do not like running. It's my least favorite thing to do. And I also don't like working up in the morning, but I do it to prove to myself kind of what Stan is saying, like I'm bigger than my emotions. I'm bigger than how I feel. And also I can train my mind to how do I say, like inspire me to feel however I want to feel. So if I want to go running and I want it to feel joyful, well, I can create that. And so that's the practice that I'm doing every morning. I don't like it. And it's today's day 3, but as y'all can't see my energy, but I feel very, like excited, because it's like, oh, I thought that was going to be terrible, but actually I feel amazing. So it's just like, you can make, I like to say, like, you give meaning to, you give it meaning in whatever way you want to. So you make the meaning.
Yeah.
It could be horrible or it could be fun. It could be dreadful or it could be exciting.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I love that you have a very specific process that you take people through. You kind of gave us some of those tidbits here today in terms of getting clear on what you want and making sure that you anticipate resistance and get into the feeling and so forth. If people wanted to find out more about getting in touch with you and making sure that and getting more of that information so that they can come up with their own plan and so forth, where can they go?
So the best thing to do would be to fill out an intake form. Very simple, just like name, email address. That way we can schedule what I feel would be a connection call. That way I can get a better understanding of what exactly they're wanting to do and then direct them to what service will be best for them. So they can go to tiny.url. /body lover. And so that's BODYLOVHER. And then with filling out that form, like I said, I could just get a better understanding of what they want to do. And then we can direct them to what service would be best for them. One-on-one coaching, membership, 7-day cleanse. So it just depends on what they want to do.
Oh, you mentioned the 7-day cleanse. Let me tell you guys. Speaking of spiritual practices, so she has a 7-day cleanse called the Re-Up, and it's kind of like a way of resetting your. I know you weren't planning on this, Brittney, but I gotta confess. So the Re-Up is this 7-day challenge, and every day you're eating fruits and vegetables that align with a particular chakra. Yes. So we start with red fruits and vegetables that align with the root chakra. And then we go to orange fruits and vegetables that align with the sacral chakra, and then yellow and so forth. And I promise you, because I've gone through it a couple of times, and I promise you that every time that I do it, it's like a different level of mental clarity and of energy that shows up for me. And I love that you do that. I love that you align the physical with the spiritual, that you align the cleanse with, so it's input and the output, right? So the exercise could be the output, but the nutrition part is the input aspect of it. So I have the link pulled up, tinyurl.com/body lover, and lover is spelled with an H, right? So LOVHER. So body lover. So that you can just sign up to get more information. There's no obligation on that, of course, but it's a way to get in touch with Brittney.
Follow me on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram.
You're
That's
always
a
on
really
Instagram.
good way to get in contact with me. I like a very personable approach. So I
Yeah.
always say, like, slide in my DM. Like, tell me what it is, you want to do, and we can go from there. So I am Brittney, which is BRITTNEY, LaSha, LASHA. And Cece, I have your information.
Awesome. Cece's already on it. Cece is on it. tinyurl.com/body lover, or go to Instagram. I am Brittney LaSha. I like it. Anybody else? Questions, last minute declarations? You can put your public promises here, and we will be in community with you for your accountability and to celebrate your results. Anybody else want to say, ask a last minute question or give a last minute declaration? Who is up? I'm going to give my declaration. And my declaration is, and Brittney already knows this, so I'm not, I'm not confessing anything, but I'm letting you guys know. For the longest time, I have wanted to do a 7-minute mile when I run. I've done 5Ks before. I've done 10Ks before. Hell, I even did a whole marathon, the Disney Marathon. I did it many, many years ago. But running has always been a challenge for me. One, because of the emotional trauma that I have associated with running. I was a high school varsity track person, and a friend of mine died on the track when I was in high school. And I had shin splints, and I associated the shin splints with that death experience, right? And so I remember sharing with you, Brittney, some time ago, that I went to the gym and I was running, and I felt like I had no pain. The shin splints were gone. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I think this means my body has released the grief of Diana's death, because the pain of the shin splints always reminded me of my friend Diana. And now that I have no shin splints, I'm going to have to remember her without pain. And I just thought that was such an amazing connection. It wouldn't have happened unless I tied the physical with the emotional as well. So, and I thank you, Brittney, for always connecting the dots for me in that way. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Remember to love generously, to laugh. I want you to laugh obnoxiously. Like, have people turn around and be like, what's so funny? That kind of laugh. I want you to eat more plant-based, stress less, sleep, get yourself at least 7 or 8 hours every single night. Move your tail feather, please, by all means, today. Put on some music and just dance, you know what I mean? And then, of course, always check yourself before you wreck yourself. Audit your assumptions. It might save a life. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Remember to get in touch with Brittney at tinyurl.com/body lover. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, family.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Good job.
Thanks, everybody.
One love, guys. One love.
One love.